What's up, everybody? It is Kellen here from Start Your Systems, and welcome to another edition of Track Walk in MX Simulator. Today, we're going to be playing a little bit of an older track, a track that has been out for 2 years now, I guess. Or no, a year. Sorry, I had my dates wrong. It's been out for a year, and you guys, I think, will enjoy this one because it's a pretty, I feel like, popular track that a lot of people know. It's huge on the amateur circuit. Obviously, everybody knows Loretta Lynn's in the Amateur National Championship there, but I feel like in terms of like major amateur championships these days, Minio's has got to be in the top 2 or 3 major championships that the amateurs would like to win. And Minio's Mini Olympics, it happens at Gatorback Cycle Park in Florida every year. It happens, I think, on Thanksgiving every year, if I'm not mistaken. And it's like a 5-6 day event, just like Loretta's is, but the difference is they do like 3 days of Supercross and then 3 days of Motocross. And the Supercross track is more like a tamed down futures race, but the Motocross track is the actual Motocross track at Gatorback Cycle Park, which was actually on the pro Motocross schedule for a long time back in the 80s and 90s. So it's even to older generation people a track that's fairly familiar, even though the younger generation is really kind of the only people that really have like a big race on it anymore. And it's a really cool track. Like, you don't expect elevation in Florida, I would say, very often. This is in Florida, and I'm not sure which part of Florida, actually. I should have looked that up. But you don't expect elevation often in Florida because it's kind of a flat state, kind of swampland in a lot of different places and stuff like that. And then even tracks that they go to now, like WW Ranch or Florida Track and Trail or whatever, are basically just flat, man-made jump type of tracks. But this has elevation change, which is pretty cool. And I don't think I've even mentioned who made this track yet, but it is AtlasZoor, who is one of the top MX Simulator track creators of the last 4 or 5 years. He's done really, really great work, and he didn't specify that like he made this for a race in game or anything like that. I don't believe it actually ever was like a track that was raced in any major series in sim or anything like that. But basically said he kind of drew inspiration from the Minios of 2018 to build the 2018 track. So that's what this is, the 2018 Minios track, aka Gatorback again, that he built. And really, really fun track. I think it's designed for a road. I don't have a road on, just because I'm still pretty awful at this game for the most part, or pretty much anytime I play with a road, I should say. So I don't have it on, but pretty good stuff with small starter braking bumps, small starter ruts, and then a really good fast flowy track. I think the traction is some of the grippier traction I've raced on or ridden on recently. It's got a lot of kind of pick up through and carry in the corners. Doesn't have a lot of roll resistance, so you can get going pretty fast, pretty quickly. And I don't know, too much about Gatorback and the dirt there, but given that it is Florida, I'd have to imagine it's kind of like a clay base with a bit of a sandy, kind of topsoil on it. Not sure if that's accurate or not, but I can kind of get the sense from riding Atlas's version that that's maybe what he was going for, because it has, like, when you're on the throttle, it feels like it's got a little bit of breakaway, like you can kind of slide through the corners. But the second you start getting, going in like a straight line, you're going. And at least from what I've seen of Florida tracks, that seems to be pretty, kind of standard. Like you can get moving pretty fast on these tracks because they're usually freeways. But yeah, Gatorback, like I said, pretty well-known track. I feel like a lot of people who don't know anything about amateur motocross in the United States probably know about it just because it was on the national circuit for a while. But even so, I feel like it's still a pretty, universally well-known track. And if you don't know about it, then welcome to looking at it for the first time. I'm not sure exactly how long the Minios have, had this event happen at Gatorback for, but like I said, it's been a staple for many years, and I'd have to imagine, we're going on several decades of it being at Gatorback. And I think one of the more, universal reasons of why it's such a big amateur, national, major, whatever you want to call it, is the time that it is, which is, around Thanksgiving. So a lot of times families are able to take a week off or take a lot of time off to travel across the country from wherever they're from to race this event. Whereas, like the James Stewart Spring National at Freestone doesn't happen around a holiday of any kind, really. So it's just like a weird kind of like middle of March race that, not families aren't necessarily always prepared to be able to take off. Sometimes I guess it does happen into or around spring break for kids. So, maybe that falls into the spectrum for them. But Gatorback, like I said, it's like a Thanksgiving thing. So, kids, sometimes they only get Thursday or Friday or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, but it's not, the hardest thing for the families to take the entire week off, and then you travel out to Florida, kind of celebrate Thanksgiving with the family, the kids race, and it seems like everybody has a pretty good time. I'm not exactly sure either how well received Gatorback is. Like, I've never really gotten the chance to talk to people about how much they like Gatorback. I think general consensus is a lot of amateur riders, especially when they get to, high B pro sport /A level, even, when they're still on super minis or in schoolboy or anything like that, say that Loretta's is kind of a small track, which is true, but it's that way because, 50s and super minis and stuff like that have to race it there as well. So they, even if they expanded the track to make it a freeway and much faster for 250Fs or 450s, they still have to accommodate for those smaller bikes, and they don't want those things running wide open down a half a mile straightaway or anything like that. So I get why Loretta's is small, but Gatorback doesn't seem to fit that bill, at least for me. This track is, I guess, pretty tight in some sections, but it's got some pretty wide open sections as well where you can carry a lot of speed. So that part of it's definitely really cool because it's one of those few or one of those amateur races that is a big deal, and it's on a track that I guess more or less kind of actually gives you an accurate depiction or test of skill set for riders, which a lot of people say Loretta's does not because it's not wide open fast like a big national track is. So I think that's probably why it gets a lot of recognition. A lot of the stars show up and race it. I think for the most part you have a lot of the big name A class, B class, and super mini riders make it to Minios every year. Like I said, it's one of like the big major minis races, so you tend to see a lot of the big names make it. And I think a big help of that too is that they have the Supercross event, and let me just go show you. So the starting gate right here is used for both, and Atlas doesn't have it on this particular track, but normally the Supercross would turn right here, and you can even see with this overlay where the Supercross track kind of is, like weaving back and forth right here. He didn't build it, obviously, but this is where the Supercross event happens, and they build a Supercross track there to be raced on every year. And I would say, in terms of MX Simulator, that Supercross track is built pretty frequently because a lot of people, I guess, enjoy the fact that they get to race, Supercross, or they used to race it, once a year. Instead of doing Supercross Futures, they have an actual amateur event that has a Supercross event. So Minios Supercross I've seen a ton of times in this game before, but you don't often see the full Gatorback national track, which is why I wanted to do this for a track walk today, because I felt like it was unique. It was one that I missed a while ago. I've played it, in the last couple months, and like I said, I think a lot of people would have been excited to see Gatorback, because that's another question that gets asked too on these track walk videos is are you going to do real life tracks? And ideally, yes. Like, I would prefer to do a lot of real life tracks over not, because I think a lot more people resonate with that when your local raceway or local racetrack ends up being in MX Simulator, and you're like, wow, that's cool, like my track is in a video game. So I like doing those types of track walks because I'm like you. When I saw Glen Helen in Sim, and when I saw Milestone MX Park or Paula or whatever in Sim, I was kind of like, man, that's cool that I get to ride a track that, in real life I ride it, and then in a video game I ride it. So Gatorback, yeah, AtlasZoor, great track creator, great track here that he's made. I like, again, environment-wise, that he took the time to, lay out fencing all around the circuit and, put in water, put in the towers. Like, he's done a pretty, holistic job of recreating what this track looks like on a race weekend. So, top-notch job there by Atlas. And overall, just really good, easy track to ride. I'd imagine racing with the road, it would get a little hectic and frantic, big braking bumps, some bigger ruts and stuff like that, which I think still would be a lot of fun, but for me, I'm just terrible enough that I wouldn't be good at it. But a really solid job here by Atlas on producing a top-notch track. Once again, this is, probably the third or fourth AtlasZoor track that I've done for a track walk, and it seems like every time I do it, people always receive his tracks really well. And I wouldn't be playing it if I didn't think it was fun, so I give it my recommendation, hence it being on a track walk. And our week of track walks continues here on Start Your Systems. Hope you guys are enjoying this, kind of grabbing some tracks that maybe you haven't seen, or maybe you have been playing recently but you forgot about, and bringing them back to light a little bit here with our week of track walks. And gonna try to get some more track walk stuff done in other games as well. I think my plan is to start utilizing track walk as a series holistically, that carries from game to game. So we'll keep our standard track walks in MX Simulator here, but there will be new track walk series popping up so that I can play some more custom tracks in other games, which I've really wanted to do for a long time, but I just never really had a good idea for how to do it. I always wanted to come up with something different than track walk because I felt like it should be exclusive to Sim, but who cares? We'll just call it all track walk and we'll just have a good time with it. But yeah, Gatorback Cycle Park, Minio's 2018 National Track by AtlasZoor. Get it in the description below, and we'll see you guys in the next one. So long for now.